I found my fiancé and best friend together. What? Gonna get all emotional now? She sneered. I just smiled, turned around, and disappeared. By morning, my phone was drowning in missed calls. I never thought I'd be one of those guys posting my life on the internet. Yet here I am, hands shaking, not because I'm sad, but because I'm absolutely furious. I'm Ryan, 31M. Until a week ago, I was engaged to Madeline, 29F. We were together for 4 years, engaged for 8 months. Our wedding was supposed to be in 6 months. Keyword was. And Tyler, 31M, my so-called best friend, knew him since freshman year of high school. We'd been through everything together. Graduations, breakups, first jobs. I would have trusted him with my life. Turns out, I shouldn't have trusted him with my fiancée. Madeline got really into yoga about 5 months ago. Started small, a class here and there. Then it became 4 nights a week. Private sessions, workshops, weekend retreats. I was happy for her at first. It seemed healthy. Gave her something to look forward to after long workdays. I even joked that maybe I'd join her someday, learn how to touch my toes without pulling a muscle. She laughed it off. Said it was her me time. Fair enough, I thought. Tyler had recently gotten certified as a yoga instructor. Big career change for him. He claimed he wanted to build a client list, so he offered to help Madeline get more serious about her practice. Of course, I said yes. It sounded like a win for both of them. God, I was stupid. Little things started piling up. Madeline's phone never left her hand anymore. Notifications would light up the screen, and she'd flip it over without reading them. She started coming home later and later after classes. Always had some excuse ready. If I ever asked, even casually, she'd snap. Called me controlling. Said I needed to trust her. And Tyler? He acted like nothing was wrong. Still showed up to Sunday barbecues, still joked about my tight hamstrings and how I should come stretch sometime. I ignored the sinking feeling in my gut. Buried it. Told myself I was being paranoid. Until last Tuesday. I was supposed to be at a site visit for work until late. Job got canceled halfway through the afternoon. Instead of telling Madeline I was coming home early, I decided to surprise her. Picked up takeout from her favorite Thai place. Figured we could have a cozy night in. Tyler's car was parked outside when I pulled up. For a second, I thought maybe he was just dropping something off. Old habits, still giving them the benefit of the doubt. I unlocked the front door quietly. No laughter. No conversation. Just muffled noises coming from upstairs. You know that scene in movies where everything goes dead silent except the heartbeat pounding in your ears? Yeah, that's not what happens. You hear everything. Everything you don't want to. I opened the bedroom door. There they were. Madeline. Tyler. Our bed. The bed where we picked out matching sheets together. The bed where she said she couldn't wait to build a life. She saw me first. No guilt. No fear. Just that same smug, bored look. What? Gonna get all emotional now, she said, voice dripping with contempt. I didn't say a word. Pulled out my phone. Snapped a few photos. Watched them scramble to cover themselves, fumbling for excuses they hadn't even thought of yet. Thanks, I said, my voice steady. Thanks for making this easy. I turned and walked out. Behind me, Madeline shouted after me. That's it. You're just gonna walk away. At the doorway, I paused. Turned back. No, I said. I'm just getting started. That night, I checked into a hotel. Turned my phone off. In the morning, when I turned it back on, there were over 60 missed calls. Texts, DMs, emails. From Madeline. From Tyler. From mutual friends. All of them flipping between excuses, apologies, threats. Edit. Thanks for the overwhelming support. For those asking, no, I'm not planning to just move on quietly. There's a plan. Trust me, this isn't over. Not even close. Revenge doesn't happen overnight. Not the kind that sticks. Not the kind they remember every time they wake up at 3 a.m. wondering where it all went wrong. It takes patience, planning, and a little creativity. After leaving the hotel, I didn't rush back into anything. Didn't storm into our mutual friends group chats. Didn't make any grand announcements. I let silence do the work for me. While Madeline and Tyler were busy scrambling, texting, demanding, trying to figure out how much I knew. I spent my time collecting everything. See, Madeline had gotten lazy with tech. Our old shared iCloud account, from back when we synced calendars and playlists, was still active on her end. She never thought to log out. Every photo she took, every screenshot she saved, every late-night text she thought was private, it was all sitting there, waiting for me. Screenshots. Receipts, dates, times, conversations about where they were meeting up after classes, photos from inside Tyler's yoga studio, shots that never made it to her public Instagram, inside jokes about how gullible I was, how easy it was to sneak around. Edit. For the people asking, no, I didn't need to hack anything. She gave me the keys and never bothered to lock the door. By Thursday, I had enough evidence to sink a small country. But I wasn't finished yet. The beauty of betrayal is that the more you wait, the more mistakes they make. The more desperate they get, the more obvious the cracks become. Madeline kept blowing up my phone, flipping between crying apologies and screaming threats. Tyler stayed mostly silent, but I knew he was sweating. They didn't know when the hammer would fall. They just knew it was coming. And that's a better punishment than anything I could have said to them directly. Edit. Some of you asked if I'm planning to blast them publicly yet. No, not yet. Timing is everything. Let them twist a little longer. Let them wonder when it's going to hit. Because here's the truth. They weren't sorry they did it. They were sorry they got caught. And they hadn't even begun to pay for it yet. The first cracks started showing by the end of the week. Madeline was still pretending everything was normal online. Posting smiling yoga selfies, inspirational quotes about growth and self-love. But the panic was bleeding through in private. Texts begging me to talk. Texts demanding I listen. Texts threatening to ruin my reputation if I didn't respond. Classic cheater playbook. Burn the house down and then scream that you're the victim when someone points out the fire. I didn't answer. Not once. Not even a polite fuck you. Tyler, for his part, tried to stay quiet. He didn't reach out directly. Didn't apologize. Didn't even try to explain. Maybe he thought staying silent would make it go away. Maybe he thought if he hid long enough, it would blow over. It wouldn't. The first move was financial. Madeline and I had a joint savings account for wedding expenses. She must have forgotten, in the middle of sneaking around, that I still had full access to it. One quick meeting at the bank. One signature. Half the balance, my half moved to a new account under my name only. No warning. No argument. When she tried to book a payment for the caterer the next day, her card was declined. I got to watch that little meltdown happen in real time, thanks to one of her friends who sent me a screenshot of Madeline's frantic group chat messages. Does anyone have a few $1,000s I can borrow? Please, it's urgent. Urgent, indeed. Edit. Yes, for the record, we never had a prenup signed yet. No marriage, no legal entanglements. Just clean separation of funds once I pulled my half out. Next came the studio. Tyler's yoga studio wasn't exactly booming, small space, small following, mostly local moms and young professionals looking for a good stretch and a good selfie. He relied heavily on referrals and private sessions. Turns out, cheating with your best friend's fiancé isn't great for business. Without saying a word publicly, I shared a few choice screenshots privately with some of the studio's regulars. No accusations. No angry speeches. Just evidence. By Sunday, whispers were spreading. A few clients quietly canceled private sessions. A few more posted vague comments online about unprofessionalism at local studios. Tyler posted a weak Instagram story about taking some time to refocus energies. Translation. Everyone was bailing. Edit. No lawsuits. No threats. All clean. All quiet. People made their own decisions once they saw the truth. That's the thing about liars. Once exposed, they rot from the inside out. You don't even have to lift a finger after that. Madeline started texting again Sunday night. The tone had shifted. No more threats. Just desperate apologies. Pathetic promises to make it right. As if there was anything left to save. I didn't answer. Not because I was angry. Not anymore. I just didn't care. And that was worse than any revenge I could have screamed into her face. By the following week, it was impossible for them to pretend nothing was happening. Friends started pulling away. Not dramatically, no big blow-ups, just quiet absences. Invitations that never got sent. Texts that went unanswered. The yoga community, tight-knit and full of gossip, turned colder than ice. Tyler's weekend classes went from packed rooms to half-empty mats. A few private clients dropped him altogether. One of them even left a brutal review online, mentioning serious professionalism concerns without getting into details. He couldn't even defend himself publicly without admitting guilt. Madeline was slipping, too. She posted a long Instagram caption about healing from betrayal. As if she was the one who got cheated on. Half her followers flooded her comments with sympathy. The other half weren't so forgiving. Someone anonymously posted a collage of screenshots under her post. messages between her and Tyler, photos from private yoga sessions that had nothing to do with downward dog. The comments section turned into a war zone. By midnight, Madeline had deleted her post. Edit. For people asking if I posted those screenshots. Nope, didn't have to. Once people started connecting the dots, they handled it themselves. Real karma doesn't need a loudspeaker. The next few days blurred into chaos, not for me, but for them. Madeline sent another wave of messages. Apologizing. Begging. Claiming Tyler pressured her. Claiming it wasn't what it looked like. Meanwhile, Tyler started blaming Madeline in private conversations, saying she misled him and gave mixed signals. Funny how loyalty crumbles when the ship starts sinking. I stayed silent. Not one reply. Not one post. I just watched the house they built on lies collapse under its own weight. By Thursday night, I got a text from an old mutual friend. Dude, it's a bloodbath out here. You should see what they're saying about Madeline. I didn't answer. Just smiled. Poured myself a drink. Patience. Control. Let them finish destroying themselves. Update. Thanks for sticking around. Things got even better. First, I just want to say thank you to everyone who commented, messaged, or sent support after my last update. I never thought sharing this would turn into a full-blown story, but honestly, knowing thousands of strangers have my back made it easier to stay patient and focused. Some of you said I was being too calm. Some said they were waiting for the moment the real chaos started. Well, it started, and it was worth the wait. After a week of letting Madeline and Tyler twist in the wind, I decided to push a little harder, nothing crazy, just a small nudge to speed things along. I gathered a neat package of screenshots, calendar entries, and location tags and sent them to the owner of Tyler's yoga studio. The owner and I aren't close friends, but in a town this size, everyone knows everyone, and bad news travels even faster when you hand-deliver the truth. I didn't include angry rants or make threats, just facts, dates, photos, and a polite note saying, you might want to be aware of this. 2 days later, the studio posted an announcement on their Facebook and Instagram accounts stating that Tyler Grant would no longer be teaching classes effective immediately. No warm goodbyes, no thank you for your service, no second chances, just cut clean out of the business like a tumor. Tyler, to his credit, didn't post a dramatic goodbye or a pity story. He simply vanished, which tells you everything you need to know about how guilty he really was. Meanwhile, Madeline couldn't stay quiet. I was sitting outside at a cafe I sometimes use for remote work when she appeared out of nowhere, tears already spilling down her face. She cornered me before I could even pretend not to see her, and started sobbing loudly enough that a few people turned to look. Through gasping breaths and broken apologies, she said she missed me. She said Tyler didn't mean anything. She said it had been a mistake. She begged me to hear her out, to give her a chance to explain the full story. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I didn't even look angry. I calmly closed my laptop, picked up my coffee, and walked away without saying a single word, leaving her standing there in front of half the cafe, realizing that I didn't hate her. I just didn't care. Edit. Shout out to the random guy who sent a fresh coffee to my table right after that. Legend. Later that night, Tyler tried his own little pathetic move. He sent me a single text message that read, "Bro, we need to talk. You're blowing this way out of proportion." I didn't respond. I didn't even open the message for more than 3 seconds before deleting it from my notifications. There's nothing left to say when someone's already shown you exactly who they are. Words don't fix betrayal. Only distance does. As if that wasn't enough, karma decided to speed things up on its own. A few days later, someone leaked an old video taken inside Tyler's yoga studio late at night, very obviously after hours. It wasn't security footage, either. It looked like someone had recorded it on a phone and just sat on it, waiting for the right moment. The video wasn't explicit in a legal sense, but it showed enough to make it clear that whatever Madeline and Tyler were doing in there wasn't downward dog. Within hours, the clip spread through private yoga groups, mom groups, fitness communities, and finally onto a few public Facebook pages. Tyler's reputation disintegrated overnight. The studio quietly wiped his profile from their website, and all his classes were permanently reassigned to other instructors. Madeline, meanwhile, tried locking her Instagram, deleting comments, hiding behind a few carefully staged healing posts, but it was already far too late. Everyone knew. Friends unfollowed. Clients disappeared. Invitations dried up like dead leaves. By Sunday night, Both of them were practically radioactive. Nobody wanted to be caught standing next to either one of them. As for me, I went back to my apartment, cracked a beer, and streamed the new season of a show I actually like for once. No stress. No cheaters slithering around my phone. No lies hiding in my house. I didn't need revenge tours or rage-fueled speeches. They were destroying themselves beautifully without my help. And I was finally free to enjoy the silence. Update. Just when you thought it was over. First off, thanks again to everyone who stuck around and encouraged me to play this smart instead of loud. Your advice kept me from making stupid emotional moves, and believe me, patience paid off better than any screaming match ever could. A few people messaged asking if there was more fallout after the last update. Oh, there was. And it was beautiful. After the viral video made its rounds, I decided to finish a few things quietly. No fanfare. No big explosions. Just small, clean moves to make sure they felt it everywhere. Tyler tried applying for a teaching job at another yoga studio across town, something smaller, newer, hoping nobody would know what had happened. Unfortunately for him, one of my good friends happened to work part-time for the owner there. One careful, casual conversation later, no accusations, just a calm warning about professional boundary concerns. And suddenly Tyler's application got lost in the system. No second chances. No restarts. Just a dead end. Madeline wasn't doing much better. She tried pivoting into some healing coach nonsense online. Posting about forgiveness, personal growth, spiritual renewal. A few people bought it at first. Most didn't. The people who had seen the screenshots, the leaks, the stories, they weren't forgetting anytime soon. And just when she should have been lying low, Madeline made her dumbest move yet. I caught her lurking around my apartment parking lot one afternoon, just standing by the gate like she was coincidentally passing through. Not knocking on my door, not making noise, just standing there, trying to look casual while keeping her eyes glued to my windows. Big mistake. I didn't even approach her. Didn't say a word. I called the police calmly, explained the situation, and let them handle it. When the officers arrived, she tried the tears trick again. But when they pulled up the messages I showed them, dozens of ignored texts, desperate calls, and now her showing up at my home. They weren't impressed. She was cited officially for harassment and trespassing. Permanent mark. Public record. Good luck explaining that on future apartment applications, Maddie. Edit. A few people asked if I felt bad watching her sit on the curb, handcuffed, crying her eyes out. No, not even a little. She made her bed. She just didn't expect anyone to stop her from crawling out of it. As for Tyler, last I heard he was working tech support out of state, living in a rented room from some Craigslist ad. Apparently, spiritual balance doesn't pay much when your resume says fired in disgrace between the lines. Madeline, meanwhile, moved back in with her parents, shut down most of her socials, and started a personal blog that barely gets any traffic. 6 followers, no comments, and probably not a lot of dignity left either. Poetic, honestly. Me? I started fresh. New apartment. New job promotion. New hobbies that have absolutely nothing to do with fixing other people's lives. I don't think about them anymore. Not with anger. Not even with satisfaction. They're just gone. The way dead weight should be. Final edit. For anyone stuck wondering whether staying silent and moving smart is better than blowing up in rage, it is. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't posting screenshots or yelling or burning bridges. It's surviving them.